So why do you need to centralize the revenue but distribute the responsibility?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
BMC should not sell cattle and then give all of the funds, the revenue it raises, to central government.
Yeah. Imagine a market where Botswana's unique products seemingly reach South African consumers, and South Africa's innovations find eager buyers in Botswana. The potential for cross-border trade in South Africa is enormous, but how do we bridge the gap? Today we are joined by Mr. Gabriel Rasengwatshe, a leading voice in product promotion and sales strategy across these two dynamic economies. Together we'll explore opportunities, challenges, and create solutions that will unlock growth for businesses on both sides of the border. Mr. Gabriel, welcome back to the Director's General.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me to your new set. Such an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
No, we always enjoy having a conversation with you, sir. Well, we just want to understand, Mr. Gab, Botswana and South Africa, sales, market, or production. But what's happening there?
Well, I mean, it's quite clear that historically, Botswana and South Africa have a shared heritage, both politically and economically. Since 1885, there has been a direct relationship between South Africa and Botswana in terms of administration, starting out with the High Commissioner who was based in Cape Town and who was running the colonial administration. And at a later stage, Vryburg and Mahikeng became administrative capitals for Botswana before Lobate became a capital, and eventually Gaborone, as we know it today, as the capital city. So there's a shared history that and shared heritage, obviously. A lot of the movement of Botswana from, particularly in the Free State area, spread into from Lesotho, and it's the same people spreading into Mahikeng, crossing into Botswana, populating Bangwatu areas, reserves, populating the northeast reserve as well. You've got Barolomba Seleka in Matsiluje and all of that. So you can see that there is a huge connection between South Africa and Botswana. But when it comes to trade has always been skewed in favor of South Africa. There's a huge trade deficit between Botswana and South Africa for pretty much obvious reason. South Africa is highly industrialized, a highly diversified economy, and you can say it's one of the most mature economies in Africa, if not a leading economy in Africa. It's obviously in the top 3 large economies in Africa. And you see also how it's competing for foreign direct investment. It's amongst the leading economies, if not the leading economy. I think it's competing a lot with Egypt in attracting foreign direct investment. And we have relied on South Africa for a lot of things, including sending our best minds to study in South Africa. We go for tertiary level health services in South Africa. We import pretty much everything through their borders. Very rarely do we use the Namibian and Mozambican ports. So South Africa is it's not just a big brother for Botswana, but it is a strategic partner in trade.
Okay. We talked much about the similarities between Botswana and South Africa, but I just want you to tap a bit into the differences that maybe might hinder the trade relations between the two countries.
Absolutely no differences at all. If anything, South Africans have been waiting for trade from the north, so to speak. South Africans dominate trade, outward trade out of the the region, into SADC, beyond SADC, and all of that. But South Africans have been ready for far too long to receive trade back. The challenge is that all the other economies themselves have not matured enough for them to even begin to meet the enormous consumption that is in South Africa. So the opportunity is in identifying the pockets that are available in South Africa for trade. I think it was the South African Airways Chief Executive Officer. He was here, I think, when the SAA was launching their route here.
Yes.
And he even called for Botswana businesses to take an opportunity to have a regional airline like the South African Airways.
Yes.
Domiciled basically in Botswana with routes, direct routes here. I think they have two. I think they fly twice a day, if I'm not mistaken, into Gaborone and out.
Yeah.
So there are no major differences, and usually if there are, like for instance, when we were trying to find a way to export table eggs in South Africa, then we discovered that there was no protocol for table eggs to go from Botswana to South Africa, and not necessarily because it can't be there. It was just that it needed to be put together. So we've been working with Dr. Kololwane in Botswana and Dr. Rajput in Pretoria.
Yeah.
We're trying to find a way to do that. But obviously there are things that we need to meet. For instance, you've got our producers in Botswana who are producing table eggs. They're fragmented.
Yeah.
But you are dealing with products that could be hazardous one way or the other. So there's a way that they have to be handled.
Okay.
And so we need to then rise to the level of, or to the level where the protocol is possible by meeting the requirements for export of table eggs. So we are working on that. We are still a bit far from attaining what will be needed for the protocol to fall into place. However, those are things that are an ongoing process.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in terms of products, what are the most promising products that you think maybe South Africa needs from Botswana?
Well, South Africa is a market economy.
Yeah.
And I don't think we live in a world where you have a product that can be unique. Very rarely can you find an industry where you are unique.
Yeah.
And usually those industries, they are monopolies that are maintained by government. Like for instance, they are strategic.
Yes.
To governments, or they are strategic in geopolitics. Like for instance, let's take a product like chips. Chips are highly controlled. They are strategic products that are controlled by geopolitical powers.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
And so even the R&D into it's so expensive that it's very difficult for you to even begin to compete. And not only that, the players that have been involved in that space have been working for far too long, that you will take pretty much the same amount of time it took them to put it together.
Yes.
For you to even begin to come close to competing. What we should be asking ourselves is, can we compete at a price point but with the same quality or better? Mm-hmm. Those are the exceptional circumstances that can lead us to finding our way onto the South African market, particularly because the exchange value between Botswana Pula and South African Rand, really the erosion, you have begun seeing it, and it is coming to a point where the Pula and the Rand eventually will either be on par or slightly
different.
just slightly different.
Yeah.
So those are the key opportunities that we have to say, how do we compete, price parity? How do we compete? Well, it's not just to compete with South African producers, by the way. You've got China. China is the biggest production warehouse in the whole world.
Yeah.
And you can see even their prices in Botswana. Like, for instance, their prices killed the textile industry in Botswana.
Yeah.
And you cannot compete with that without at least trying to increase production, increase output, but lowering your costs. So those are the dynamics that we need to work with as a nation, and mobilizing producers to understand what they need to do.
Okay. Can you please expand a bit on the China warehouse production and the textile production in Botswana?
No, well, you can see let's take, for instance, leteisi.
Yeah.
Right? Leteisi, ha Botswana ba le dira. The dress used to go for like 500 pula, like the whole suit.
Yeah.
Right? And then the Chinese started making those dresses, and the price dropped to literally $100.
Yeah.
$100, $150. So now the local producers started struggling, because for them it was like they were treating it like a niche product.
Yes.
But the Chinese didn't treat it like a niche product.
Yeah.
You see, why? Because in China, you've got special economic zones. The way China is built is built such that the special economic zones are essentially a value chain.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy who makes buttons is making buttons for the guy who makes shirts.
Yes.
He's not making buttons to put them on his own shirts.
Mm-hmm.
But here you have people who are making leteisi, and they want to do everything more leteisi.
The very same people who are putting buttons on
Exactly.
the leteisi, yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So that obviously is going to slow you down. You won't be able to produce at mass.
Mm-hmm.
So that means then you will struggle to sell at a lower price, because now you've got economies of scale that play in. So then the Chinese came with the capacity to do that. And then also they already have market activation platforms, which is their shops.
Yes.
So their go-to-market strategy is pretty much solid even before they start with production. Whereas with us, we've got very fragmented, not just production, but even on the market side, we have a poor approach to market participation in our country. And it is particularly because we have not come to a point where we should see ourselves as collaborators and rather than competitors, which is a much better strategy when you want to apply capitalism on the African continent. If our capitalism can be around collaboration, because we don't have the capacity to operate large factories, but how do we collaborate with what we have so that we can mimic the capacity of a factory while we are also small little producers? We don't have that as yet. Hopefully we will find a way to do that. We are being forced by circumstances like the state of our economy now to do that. How fast we do it will determine whether we will turn around the economy fast enough, or we'll suffer through it and live uncomfortably next to something that we could do something about.
Yes.
Yeah.
The trade between Botswana and South Africa, how can young people in business, I'm saying young people because I feel like they're the more agile when it comes to production. Yeah. How can they better position themselves to take advantage of your project?
Oh yeah, you mean the trade corridor? Yes, the Gaborone, Tshwane, Johannesburg, Mahikeng trade corridor is literally positioned for Botswana and South Africans to trade between each other. This whole corridor presents close to 30 million people in terms of market share within the region. And for Botswana, that's massive. I mean, you are looking just between Botswana and Mahikeng. You are now looking at a mass population of about 6 million of Botswana.
Yes.
But Mahikeng is dominated by Botswana. Just between these areas, these two cities, you have a potential to reach 6 million clients, customers. But there has to be some form of investment. And I feel bad that it is the youth that have to pay the price. Because when we could, we did not create or have the legwork put in place for them.
Yeah.
So now they have to make that investment. The first investment they need to make is to understand the South African market. So they need to then pay the price to go and learn what the South African market would like from them, because we may be the same people, but we have different taste. So after then they learn what the South Africans want, they must then come and do their R&D. How do we package our products for the South African market? And then after that, then they must fund the production for them to be able to meet the cost of going to market in South Africa. So we are estimating that by so doing, they need to at least produce, at the very least, about 60 kilograms of their produce every week. How Ropal is 60 kilograms. So already a lot of youth are struggling to do those numbers a month in Botswana because they lack the capacity. Some just walked out of tertiary. They're going into entrepreneurship not because they love entrepreneurship like we do, because they see it as a solution to their unemployment, which is now raging close to 30%. And those are conservative numbers, in my opinion. I think the real number approaches 45%, in my opinion. So the only thing I can say is that then the youth need to see that no one is coming for them. And they need to see that it's capitalism that will save them. We live in a part of the world where for the longest time, we have relied on socialist and communist, if not Marxist, ideologies to run our political systems. And yes, we are always made to feel bad when we talk about capitalism, especially in Africa, because people have been taught this thing. You see, especially for our universities and colleges, that's where you really get this ideological nuances being fed into students' minds. And because most of the continent is leftist leaning, if not all of the continent is leftist leaning, if not far left leaning, there's this exceptional and very strange demand for government to take over and control not just economies, but even people themselves. And it becomes very excessive. But then, you see, the problem with large governments and bureaucracies is they are inefficient and they end up becoming very expensive to operate. And because they rely on other people's money, which is why, let me just say, which is why the Marxists, communists and socialists, they are great when there's money. When there's other people's money. But when other people's money disappears, then you start seeing big challenges. So we need to find a scenario where the youth in Africa can begin to understand that what saves them from their current situation, because this is a continent-wide problem. What saves them is capitalism. Capitalism will reduce taxes, for instance, because then governments will be forced to become smaller. When we take Botswana government right now, Botswana government is struggling to really run its own business because the revenue it can collect is actually less than the revenue it has projected it needs to operate government, because it has decided to build itself beyond its means. In capitalism, you can't do that. You understand? If your revenue is 100,000 pula a month, but your expenses, and I'm glad I'm talking to someone who knows these things very well. If your revenue is 100,000, but your expenses, your cost of sales is 150,000, you won't last 3 months. But our government can. And if we don't talk about these things, it's going to be difficult. And just to clear, there are no political systems where you will not find inequality, because every time we talk about capitalism, you are made to sound like, oh, now you want rich people they are greedy, business people are cheating people. Recently, you heard how Botswana responded and reacted to the increase of bus fares and taxi fares. Yeah. They now started blaming bus operators and taxi operators, that they're greedy and they just want all this money, and you know what, even government should throw the buses out and put government state buses and stuff like that, like public buses, right? But then you don't hear people saying, but what would be the cost that we will be paying to have those buses operate? Yeah. Because with capitalism, the signals for capitalism, what is critical for capitalism is you can have price signals. And this dynamic, please allow me to explain this dynamic we saw with the buses and government increasing price fares, right? Bus fares. Yes. You saw government pegging the price of the fare, right? The fare, the price of transporting people at 14 pula for buses and taxis, I think. Yeah. And then immediately there was an immediate reaction from the market. Yes. So in the morning, you had fewer people using taxis and combis. Yeah. They stayed away. Yes. So people either walked or decided to call in sick, but there was just no business. Yeah. By 9 o'clock in the morning, taxi operators they bypassed government and started talking to the market directly on Facebook and saying, "Nya rona re tla re 10 pula."
So the price has
That's capitalism. Yes. You talk directly to the market. You don't need government to be a referee between the market and the operators. You don't need it. It was the most perfect time to see two systems, which is central planning and free market capitalism at play at the same time. And because all other systems rely on central planning lacks the price signals that capitalism has. So the operators could negotiate, thanks to Facebook, they could negotiate with the market directly and say, well, the price signals, let's negotiate. We've been charging 8 pula for a taxi. We are putting 2 pula. Are you okay with that? Yeah. And people started using taxis. Yeah. And it was sorted. Yeah. But government only then responded almost 4 hours after the market and the operators had settled. Yeah. And that's when they were trying to now say, oh, so we've got price signals. Yes. Why? Because where they are, they don't have price signals. That's why you have central medical stores burning medication because it has expired. Why? Because central planning says, okay, we have XY number of hospitals. Yeah. We have XY number of people. We have XY number of people who potentially will need medical care. So that means we need potentially XY number of drugs to be on standby in case they are needed. You understand? Yes. But the problem is, out of 100,000, maybe only 15% of the people will actually need the supply. But now you have covered for 100,000 people. Capitalism will say, but I'm going to lose if I'm going to have 100,000 people worth of drugs. Yes. But I only need to supply for 15,000 people. Yeah. So capitalism will say, no, I will take what's enough for 15,000 people. Mm-hmm. And if there's a sudden spike, I will adjust my logistics and increase supply. Yeah. And this is why President Festus Mogae, the only person who actually came close to having a full market capital market capitalism
Yeah.
system in Botswana. And by the way, he then became so successful that he was the only president so far in our history who actually could leave savings
Yes.
in our system. You understand? Before that, that was not the case. And after that, that was certainly not the case. You know where we are. So I wanted to just expand on that.
Yes.
I know I've spoken a slightly longer.
Yeah.
But it's critical for us to understand that all the political systems do have inequality.
Yeah.
The difference with capitalism is the inequality is the motivation for you to create more wealth, and then you keep it.
Yeah.
The other systems, it is the system that becomes even bigger and bearish, in a way, bullish, in a way that essentially takes wealth from the people, and it takes it into the bureaucracy. Yes, there's inequality in all the systems, but the inequality in capitalism comes from a lack of wanting to participate in the system by creating, because capitalism, the word capital is from the word caput in Latin, since we do a lot of Latin these days, right? So it's from the word caput.
Yeah.
Caput is head. So capital is literally the head city. When you say Gaborone is the capital city, you are saying it's the head city. When you are saying someone is a captain, you are saying they are the head player in a team.
Yeah.
When you are saying capital punishment, you are saying it's a head crime. You understand? Or a head punishment, or whatever. When you say capitulate, when you say decapitate, it's a system that is mental based. You have to think. You have to look at the problem and you say, we have a problem, we have a gap here. How do we turn it into a solution? And then how do I profit from it? So the profit becomes the motivation, but really capitalism is altruism, because you are using your capacity, your ability, your resources to be able to solve problems in your area. So if the youth can begin to shift their ideas around who actually creates wealth between government and capitalists, or between government and business, then they will be able to start moving to a point where they start thinking in a way that improves their lives.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is that we are failing to do that because the government is bigger than us, and the government is making more decision than us as, maybe let me say, just say entrepreneurs. And because of that, our entrepreneurship is now compromised because of that aspect.
We are failing because we have been ideologically brainwashed to think that government is the sponsor of your life. But at no point has government demonstrated that capacity. At every point you have paid for your service at government. It's even worse now. And I dislike the fact that we are not talking about it, where now a scenario has set itself up where you continue being taxed, but you are not getting the benefit of your tax. Let's take a scenario where right now the fuel levy has essentially been removed at the pump. And motorists have been exposed to the full market price fuel, right? But the levy is still being collected. Why? Why are you collecting the levy? If government wants to charge market prices, then government must rely on market prices to operate. If you are going to tax people to build hospitals and to staff those hospitals with medication, but then you say, I can't do that anymore. You need to bring your own supplies when you come to my hospitals. Then that's double taxation.
True.
So why don't you remove all the subsidies completely? Don't tax us. Give back the tax credit and say, look, the economy is terrible and it's very difficult. I can't keep taking from you. You're already on your back. I mean, President Dumaboko once said, why would you want to strip a naked man? You understand? So, but you have a scenario where now you are asking a naked man who you have already taxed to come to the hospital and bring more supplies that should have been provided for through their taxes.
Yeah.
So hospitals should just charge, just like private hospitals. And then government can continue. There's nothing wrong, because government is continuing. The fuel levy has been removed. People are still putting fuel in their vehicles.
Yeah.
The only challenge I have is, why maintain the tax? None of the taxes we have added to any of our products or our services in Botswana have actually worked and benefited Botswana. I'll give you an example of the 30% levy. I think it was dropped slightly.
Yeah.
But the 30% levy on alcohol.
Yeah.
Show me rehabilitation centers. When that levy was introduced, we're told point blank, we need to do something about the drug and alcohol abuse in Botswana. So this levy is being collected for that. Where is it? The levy on plastics, the levy on sugar, the sugar tax. So you've got the levy on power. When you buy your electricity, it actually tells you what levy you are paying.
Yes.
But you have blackouts all the time.
Yeah.
Why? Because the bureaucracy now is only looking at itself. When you've got 70% of government budget going to funding the operations of the system, it's time to reuse that. It becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So if government wants to play in the market space, all well and good. Play in the market space. Open up to the market prices. Charge us. A passport shouldn't be 200 pula. Charge 1.5.
Yeah.
That's how much a passport should be. It should be a privilege. You shouldn't have a passport because you could get it.
Yeah.
You should have a passport because you need to travel.
Yeah.
You need to do business outside, or you need to visit someone. It should be so important to you to travel that you spend 1,500 pula. And from that 1,500 pula, let the departments run themselves.
Yeah.
You understand?
The
But
departments are talking about in this case, passport case, the immigration department.
because akarke wa baba chaja.
Yeah.
So why do you need to centralize the revenue but distribute the responsibility?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
BMC should not sell cattle and then give all of the funds, the revenue it raises, to central government.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least they should speak and say, okay, BMC, keep 30% for your operations, we'll take 70%, or give us 45%, you will keep 55%. Whatever the agreement is, let the departments and the different agencies run through their own revenue.
Yes.
But now you have centralized the revenue, but you have distributed responsibility.
Okay. Mr. Gab, Hoha, we are talking about economic development through bridging the gap between Botswana and South Africa.
Yes.
And what we are currently talking about is, the government and nkaring nngwe ya ditsela tse e leng gore goromento o ka thabolla lehatshe ka tsone. So what I'm hearing is the government is actually taxing people or getting a lot from people, but failing dismally to make or let people do business the way it should be done for them to actually benefit from what they're paying for to the government and what they're paying for when they're building their businesses.
I don't know if I won't call it a failure.
Yeah.
I would call it a structural issue. When African governments were set up by colonial governments, they were set up for extraction. So we have not transformed them since then. We are still running our governments across the continent as if we still have, we still have colonial master. We probably do in terms of trade, because we still are following the trade routes that they developed themselves, which is understandable, because when you look at what we call colonization, really, to the colonizers, it was not colonization. They were looking for solutions. At the time, they were dealing with overpopulation on the European continent. They were dealing with a booming population that they needed to feed and all of that. So to them, going to newfound lands was not, we need to go conquer people. It was, we need to look after ourselves first. But now, since we took over, we are too comfortable in earning the salaries that come from what they had already left. And so we never got the motivation to improve on it.
Yes.
So that's why we are still on the same sectors that they left behind. We still see them as the major sectors of export. The diamond sector was pretty much an Anglo-American business.
Yeah.
Beef, same. We have markets elsewhere, but we have never really explored them. And every time we explore them, we find out that because of the model, the business model of sending cattle to Europe, we want that same model elsewhere. So we don't want to adjust the model with all the other markets. So maybe the logistics then become more expensive, making the beef more expensive, and we are not able to compete in those markets.
Yeah.
When it comes to small stock, I think we had found a market in the Middle East, but then we didn't have the capacity to supply. And then we fold our hands, and then we go back to what is already working. So in that regard, I don't think it's a failure per se.
Yeah.
I think it's motivation. What should motivate us to be able to allow for expansion is to step aside, is for politicians, because they are the ones most threatened by an alternative source of value. They are more threatened to open the economy, basically, to more players and allow for the private sector, for instance, to become independent.
Yeah.
So for a long time, we have relied on government from all fronts. You would have government saying, we will underwrite civil servants' loans with banks by collecting at source. And then you had government that would say, we'll underwrite the private sector businesses by giving them tenders that then banks can fund, believing that by the time they are done with the project, then the government will pay. So you've got RFQs that are being used basically as a treasury note between banks and the business and the business and the entrepreneur. So you see, government then becomes pretty much. You will not grow wealthy if you are not an employee or if you don't get a tender, because you won't get loans. And so that's what all the entrepreneurs have been trying to do. Either do supplies so that you can access loans because you've got an RFQ from government, or work for government so that then you can access loans, cheap loans, so that you can build a multi-res and rent it out and create wealth. So these are some of the things that we need to speak about openly and say we need to restructure this economy to benefit those that are willing to put money and resources and take the risk, because it's a risk to put your own resources into the economy. You can't keep coddling people. We have now removed completely with the sale of diamonds slowing down. That buffer has been removed completely. And look at the amount of chaos we are now going through. What has been supporting consumption is the top-ups that the civil servants have been getting from banks. What has been driving production has been overdrafts that companies have been getting.
From banks.
But now, because government can't underwrite the loans to companies and can't underwrite the loans to civil servants, now banks are holding. They're like, well, we can't fund. It's a problem, because the number one risk that a bank has to deal with is loss of money.
True.
And they can see it a mile away. That's why climate change is crap, because if climate change was good, the seaside properties banks would not fund them. There's no way a bank will fund a seaside resort. No way. If the seas are going to rise, why would a bank fund a seaside resort? So when you see a bank fund something, you know they've really sat down and thought about it and said, this is where we can put our money, because we'll get it back.
But now, how do you think we're going to survive now in this situation where businesses or entrepreneurs are unable to get loans to maybe expand, or on top of that, they're getting overdrafts, maybe against their assets, and then where civil servants are unable to get loans because the government is unable to underwrite loan policies or whatever that they've been doing? How do you think maybe a projection of this economy 6 months to 12 months?
It's bad, man. It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can only get worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't hit rock bottom yet,
Yeah.
but we are midway. Hoela Mopitsing.
Yeah.
The thing about Hoela Mopitsing is you start screaming the moment you lose your balance.
Yeah.
And then you start screaming.
Yeah.
So how far we go to hit the bottom, I don't know how long that will take.
Yeah.
The real intervention is where our ecosystems collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
The Gaborone, Motswana, Johannesburg, Mahiken Trade Corridor Initiative
Yeah.
should be embraced by agencies like LEA,
Yeah.
should be embraced by agencies like CEDA, should be embraced by BITC. Naturally, BITC is our number one partner. But the thing is, the government machinery is slow to respond to private sector solutions.
Yeah.
And every time you try to reach them, I mean, we have tried to reach several agencies, we have tried to reach several members of parliament, ministers. We have tried to do that in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And we have not come up with anything. We ended up just doing this with the private sector.
Yeah.
Because in the end, we really don't need the agencies to do what we need to do.
Yes.
There's a latent there's between us and them, we are more nimble, we are faster. But with them, a decision can take 3 years. With us, a decision can be instant.
Yes.
So we understand these dynamics. So while we invite them, while we go to them, while we approach them, while we interact with them, we don't allow their decisions to determine ours, you see.
Yeah.
But we are hoping that eventually they will see us as partners and not as competitors. We are not competing with them.
Yes.
They've already done remarkable work, like the local authority, LEA,
Yes.
right? They have done remarkable work in preparing startups to enter the market space.
Yes.
And even then, their market access program has been fantastic. It's been great in preparing these startups for the market. Where they will struggle when we are trying to align this economy to be private sector led and export focused.
Yeah.
They are going to need the last mile market activations that happen outside the country. Mm-hmm. That's where we come in.
Yeah.
So we actually help them instead of compete with them.
Yes.
So hoping that this message will reach them is that embrace us. Don't look at us as if we are competing with you. We will never compete with government. It's impossible to compete with any government in the world. If any government wants to squash you, they will squash you.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But the bottom end of our story is that the more people we lift out of poverty by availing resources for market access outside Botswana, the quicker and better we will turn our situation around.
Yeah.
Quick can be 5 years. Quick can be 10 years.
Yeah.
Quick can be 20 years. But quickest can be 2 years.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
When there's collaboration, there's an enmeshing of resources, there's a trade exchange, those things become a lot easier to do
Yes.
when there's that collaboration.
Yes. Mr. Gab, what I'm getting from you is that, number one, the government is nkaring o sa reng Setswana o ba tsenya mo gontsi mo ba ka sekeng ba kgona go ko reng ka e ba yang tota ke batla mo go teng they take more than they can swallow in terms of the government plans, like what they're currently planning, where they want to go, but now looking at the current situation that we have, whereby, because what I always hear is that issues of benchmarking, where the government will say, no, we've benchmarked this, they're doing this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we want to adopt that and use it in our country. But I'm like, in the current state or economic state, do we really need to go benchmark outside and try to bring that into our country? Or what we have to do is for us to use and develop what we currently have? Because the government will take forever to implement. And that kind of implementation is going to need a large sum of money for it to be successful. But now we don't have that kind of money. And we are trying to go somewhere. But if we take that route, I don't know, I'm seeing a recipe for disaster, because if you keep on trying to implement things that are going to need a large sum of money, which you don't have, and which you are currently trying and desperate enough to get from the citizens, recipe for disaster. And why can't we then use what we currently have and develop if we feel like it needs development, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's competing interests.
Yeah.
The private sector and government don't look at the world the same.
Yeah.
The government seeks self-preservation. You need a very stable system in place.
Yes.
And the profit motivation for business drives the motivation differently for private sector.
True.
The question is, can these two spheres understand each other?
Yes.
We have struggled to understand each other between these two very powerful spheres, because during the good times, let me say, we actually never prepared for a black swan when it comes to our diamonds.
Yeah.
We prepared for an end of diamonds production.
Yeah.
That's what we prepared for. For the longest time, even when we were talking about diversification, we were talking about, when the diamonds end, they will end one day. Look at the gold ended in Francistown, and look at copper nickel ended in Slibepikwe. So we know that diamonds will end. So we never prepared for a black swan.
Yeah.
Now we've been hit by a black swan.
Yeah.
We are not different from the guys who had stones at the time, and someone brought a piece of metal and they were dismissing it.
Yeah.
And then they will say, well, we still have plenty stones.
Yeah.
Well, the stones are still here, but this is no longer the Stone Age, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't prepare ourselves for a scenario where we still have the diamonds, but now they're useless to us.
True.
You see?
Yeah.
So we need to somehow find a scenario where we need each other.
Yeah.
This two, the answer is between here. The answer is nowhere else, because business is the only way government can actually raise funds. Government cannot raise funds from taxing poor people.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make poverty worse. Now, when you make poverty worse by taxing poor people, you are opening the social cracks. Now you start having more people fall through.
Yeah.
Which then makes you, because government by its nature is a reactionary system. It needs to react.
Yeah.
The government hardly responds.
Yeah.
Government reacts.
Yeah.
So when the cracks become wider, social challenges become wider. Government then reacts. When government reacts in a scenario where it's taxing more people, it will cause even more, it will increase the cost of living.
Yeah.
An excellent government reduces the cost of living for its people. That's an excellent government.
Yeah.
A terrible government increases the cost of living, especially on its vulnerable people.
Yes.
So these two spheres need to somehow find an equilibrium.
Yeah.
And how do we do that? We try to reduce the cost of doing business, which has exponentially increased in the last 2 years. Exponentially increased.
Yeah.
Like at least 65 to 70% of the cost of doing business is literally to government.
Yeah.
So these are the two areas that, in my opinion, that we need to start finding a balance and having these systems work together.
Yeah.
And I don't know if government will be able to let go of its immediate need to self-preserve. Because that will then say trust business people.
Yeah.
But when you have already sold this image that business people are the reason why the masses are in poverty,
It's going to be difficult.
it's going to be difficult
Yeah.
to reverse that message. But business people are actually friends of the people.
Yeah.
They're being altruistic. If a taxi can take you to a hospital and you are stabbed at a club while the police are still telling you harna koloi. So business people are literally saving you. Businesses save lives.
Yeah.
So we need more businesses to save more lives. People are talking about high food prices. Well, if you open the border for some of the things that are, because high prices are a sign of shortages.
True.
Well, in our case, also liquidity crunch, but generally they're a sign of shortages. So they allow businesses to increase supply.
Yeah.
That will drop the cost of living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. On that, where the government should make life simple for its citizens, I want us to talk about the fuel issue.
Yes.
Other people are saying it's not the government, it's the war. Other people are saying no, but the government should have or should subsidize fuel so that the government cushions its citizens. What do you have to say about that?
I think we need to see subsidies as a business benefit rather than a social benefit.
Yeah.
That's how we should see it.
Yeah.
Government should say, I will operate Air Botswana for Botswana at a break-even point, not at a profit point, at a break-even point.
Yeah.
I will operate BTC for Botswana at a break-even point.
Yeah.
And say, Botswana, I'm going to have more routes into all the markets we need to do business at. So when you are traveling on business, your ticket will be cheaper, will be at a break-even mark.
Yeah.
Why? Because the difference becomes your profit as a business.
Yeah.
That profit you take, you plow it onto the business, because all profits, nobody parks money. No businessman parks money.
Yeah.
When a businessman has a little bit of money, you deal with taxes all the time.
Yeah.
It actually becomes a cost to them to keep money.
True.
So they must take it some way.
Yeah.
So these rebates, I would prefer to call them rebates rather than subsidies,
Yeah.
right? These rebates to business then enable Botswana to compete with the outside world. So when you are flying out with a German, they pay the full ticket.
Yeah.
You are paying 10% less. That 10% is a rebate onto your business. You expand the business, you hire more people. So the obsession to subsidize for social reasons, it's short-term thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not good.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's short-term thinking. Let's subsidize for business expansion.
Yeah.
Let's make it cheaper for a Motswana business, a business in Botswana, to call the United States, right?
Yeah.
Hey, look at the amount of transformation WhatsApp brought.
Yeah.
People can talk for 5 hours, 35 of them on a call from all different parts of the world.
Yeah.
You would not spend that amount of time on a direct call
Yeah.
from BTC, landline.
Yeah.
You would be bankrupt by the end of the month. But if you subsidized the call for business people to trade with the outside world, but charge those that are outside Botswana because it's not their benefit, then you do just up to break even.
Yeah.
Just keep your prices for Botswana businesses up
Yeah.
to break even. You will keep your business running, but you will also give rebates to businesses to expand.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot to unpack, but we've run out of time. I wish we can continue because this conversation is so much interesting. I don't know, Mr. Gab. In conclusion, the future of Botswana, economic development, the bridge between Gaborone, South Africa, and Tshwane. What do you have to say about that? The future outlook.
It is the only way.
Yeah.
The good part about South Africa is the shared heritage.
Yeah.
They know us, we know them. We've been friendly for far too long between the two countries. There is very little animosity between us.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of South Africans root for us. They'll be here for the relays in a month's time.
Yeah.
They are already on social media, supporting. Even when our teams, our athletes are out in the world, they always band together.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a push sometimes inside government to look for markets outside South Africa. It's essentially maybe to try and protect, and I think it's a terrible fear to have.
Yeah.
To think that you need to go to weaker markets because you are trying to protect yourself from competition, because South Africa is it's highly competitive.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that's a terrible strategy. The opportunity of entering the South African market is not only being embraced by people who know you, that's one.
Yeah.
But two, if you can make it in Johannesburg, or if you can make it anywhere in South Africa with your product,
Yeah.
you'll be able to make it anywhere in the world. Because the South African market, like I said, it's really mature.
Yeah.
It's highly diversified.
Yeah.
They will force you to improve the quality of your product.
Yeah.
Now, if the gateway to more revenue is Zimbabwe, I would say then let's go to Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
But the gateway to more revenue is South Africa. They've got the ports, they've got the roads, they've got the logistics already sorted.
Yeah.
They've got the cold line ecosystem in place. Pretty much anything you need to assist your export outside the continent is right there. If you want to export to Kenya, it's cheaper to go through Durban
Yeah.
than to go by road. Then you go through DRC, and then they confiscate your trucks. So the future to me is that bite the bullet, Botswana.
Yeah.
South Africans will embrace us.
Yeah.
They came here. We had Mahikeng FM. They were here to help us launch the Gaborone, Tshwane, Johannesburg, Mahikeng Trade Corridor Initiative.
Yeah.
We will be going back in Midrand, perhaps next month, if not early June.
Yeah.
We are just tying loose ends to then talk to them and say, "Hey, we are here. Let's improve business tourism between us, because business tourism is now the only thing that can get us out of here."
Yeah,
Yes, the flora and fauna has done amazingly well, but it won't carry us any further than it has currently, because of the nature, how it's designed and packaged. But business tourism can expand that, and that's what we are bringing with this. We have got the city tourism initiative in Gaborone. In South Africa, they've got city tours as well. So linking these two things basically can improve trade between the two countries, and that's what we are going for. And the youth, you need to stand up. You need to challenge yourself. They can contact you. You can contact us. We are always talking. It's not an issue for us to connect, and they should come to our forums when we launch them in a few weeks after our activity in Midrand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I guess we'll always talk about it and share what we have to share to the public out there, so that we can get the information.
Thank you,
and
sir.
have young people participate.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Gab. This has really been an insightful conversation, and we look forward for that growth. We look forward for that bridging the gap between Botswana and South Africa, so that we can grow as much entrepreneurs as we can.
It's always a privilege, sir. I don't take it for granted. This is a privilege. Thank you.
Awesome. Folks, we began by imagining a marketplace where Botswana and South Africa seamlessly exchange products and ideas. After hearing Gabriel's insights, it's clear that vision isn't just a dream. It's a roadmap for entrepreneurs and businesses ready to guide the gap, or ready to bridge the gap, rather. The future of cross-border trade lies in collaboration, innovation, and understanding the unique strength of each market. As we wrap up, remember, the opportunities are there, waiting for those bold enough to connect the dots across borders. And until we meet again, folks, I'm Witness D2, and this, my friend, is the Director's Journal. Thank you.
BB Radio.